I would be
Justice for immigrants, everybody.
Justice for immigrants.
All right. So we're going to stand like over there by Martin Luther over there.
Already? Okay, one more.
Okay. Oh, you're going to straighten out your hair? Yeah.
Okay, much better.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
He's a wild man.
We're gonna take the first few ones that had.
all right. So we're going to tell a little story. And we all hear about all these things. We hear about statistics and, but we don't hear about, sometimes we hear stories, but we don't really we don't put the two together. We don't put the economic and the social impact together with the stories all the time. So we're going to try and do that now. So we have Seamus and Enya here.
Oh.
Okay.
Seamus.
I'm not seeing anything.
Irish
All
boy.
right.
He's shameless. Yeah.
Seamus and Enya.
Shameless.
We're
Shameless.
making you Irish. We're making you Irish immigrants. Okay.
Okay.
And actually, there's 30 or 40,000 undocumented Irish in the country right now. Yeah.
They blend better, huh?
Wow.
Yes. So yeah, things aren't going so well in Ireland right now. So anyhow, so Seamus is he's undocumented, and he has sheetrocking business in Bergen County. So he makes a nice living, right? So he probably makes around $60,000 a year.
Okay,
So-
bueno.
$60,000?
No, you better switch
You
up.
make about
I am the day labor?
No,
You own your own business.
The owner.
You're an entrepreneur.
you were an
Entrepreneur?
Yeah.
I don't speak English.
And-
so-
Doesn't matter.
and Seamus employs you.
Wow,
And
rico.
Seamus employs
Dale para tu papá, tu papá no tiene mucha plata. We are going to play Monopoly.
Seamus employs you.
Ooh, good.
Oh.
Very generous, a good boss.
Yellow, then we have white ones.
Now,
She's a male.
and Enya, she works at a local daycare.
Oh.
Very good.
Quantos de chicken.
So Seamus gets into a fight with one of his customers. His customers doesn't want to pay him. So they're having an argument, and the neighbors, gets a little heated. No punches are thrown, but it gets a little heated, and the cops are called. So the cops show up, and they start talking to Seamus, and they find out that he's undocumented. Now they're not supposed to ask. We all know that they're not supposed to ask, but sometimes they do. And as they say, you can't unring that bell. Because if a cop, whether he's poorly trained or he has poor intentions, bad intentions, once he calls ICE and ICE gets involved, you're done. So Seamus gets thrown into detention. So Seamus, give me your money.
Why?
Because you lose your job.
You're in jail.
I
You're in
buy
detention. You gotta give me your money.
You should have given a lot more money to the cop.
Give me your money.
Yeah, now you're making.
I don't care because I got fair friends who are going to give me a phone card.
That's right, you can count on
And
that.
I'm going to take your money because now you don't have a job. And I'm going to take your money because you don't have a
Oh.
job.
Yeah.
Take your money too. Doesn't matter, you don't have a job anymore. You're not getting any more money. So come on.
Yeah, that's something unfair about that.
Right?
Just because your dad has a short temper.
Education.
So Seamus is in detention. Now, in immigration detention, you don't get a lawyer, right? We all know that. You're not entitled to a lawyer in immigration detention. So Anya's got to go out and hire a lawyer for Seamus. So,
Because she's not working for 1
she's
day.
still working.
She's
She
still
can still work.
working. Yeah.
But now she took away all of Seamus's money. She's still got to pay all the bills of the house,
Yeah.
and now she's got to pay for a lawyer too. So Seamus is in detention. He wants to call Enya. How can he do that?
And she my wife?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I didn't know.
Florida.
Did you call?
Florida's raising her hand.
Did you call first friends? The number is on the door.
I know.
Yeah, can you wait till next
And then you,
Christmas?
I am with.
We're sending
That's
packets.
it?
And then I am with the phone.
Okay.
So call, I am your friend and I'm gonna answer.
Somebody speaks Spanish?
Sí, yo hablo español. ¿Qué deseas? Son los de irate friends.
That's first friends.
It's
No
first
irate.
friends.
Oh, I'm sorry, no more irate.
I
You
am
are irate, but
First
I
friends.
am detained. I cannot contact my wife.
Oh, okay.
What can I do? Please help me.
Okay.
I am desperate. I am going to kill myself anytime.
Whoa.
No,
I am very
you don't
depressed.
have to feel like that. I mean, no, we're gonna help you. We're gonna come to visit you. We need to talk to you. But what is your problem other than that?
But when, because I was in the street and the police asked my paper I don't have and they send me here, I don't know.
You are forgetting something. You need to ask for an attorney, and then we don't help with attorney. The first thing you need to ask for an attorney.
No, that happened that I was incarcerated without, they don't give me attorney or anything, so I see the number of
Okay, do you
friends
want me
and
to call to your wife? Do you
Please,
want me?
tell me.
Okay, so she can
maybe
come.
she can contact,
Okay, so she can come to see you. You want that?
or she can contact a lawyer.
Okay. Thank you. And then I will send somebody to come to visit you.
Thank you,
Okay.
but when?
Soon. I'm gonna tell you soon.
I'm
Very
very
soon.
desperate, I don't know what to do because I don't speak English, everybody speaks English here and many people look at me like I'm a criminal. I'm very scared because it's my first time in the jail.
actually, Seamus, everyone there speaks Spanish. This is a different problem. Oh my God.
I'm coming from Greece.
We would ask you how long you have been there.
Yeah.
When did you get
And
there?
what?
Blah,
and-
blah.
Yeah.
Your number,
And
your
what
detention,
detention?
name it.
And what detention facility you are, and your AMA number, something like that. Yeah.
So first friends, they called Enya, they let Enya know where you are. And so she comes to visit you.
So
And
she's
now you wanna-
documented, eh?
No, we don't need that.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, she can't come.
that's true.
That's
Yeah.
true,
Not
because
documented.
if you are undocumented,
If she's undocumented,
you
she cannot
cannot go
visit,
to
yes.
visit.
You better not
You
show up
cannot
now.
No, she cannot go to nursery home also.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's true. She cannot work in a daycare.
Oh, yeah, well.
Yeah.
Yes.
If she's undocumented, she cannot.
She can-
So, okay, so you are
Okay.
documented. And you
go to
cannot
class,
visit.
Kathy?
Okay. Because you have to go to a place where I want to change your.
Background check.
Yes.
But I'll come back at 2.
Okay.
Dr. Ayala will be here till 1:30.
That's
Okay.
true.
So how long will you be here?
Oh, yeah, by 1:30.
Everyone, I have to run to class, but I'm so glad to welcome you here.
Thank
Please just leave everything as is. Don't worry about cleaning up. We'll take care of that at 2. Please stay as long as you want. I really do mean that.
Thank you so
Make yourself at home. Please take, if you need more food for the journey today as you're walking, and please feel free to take that. But no pressure to clean up or anything. Just let it go.
When you're done with class,
Thank you.
Thank you.
please feel free to join us at 6 o'clock at Elizabeth Detention, should you
Yes.
have the time.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, thank you.
Of course, my students would love if I missed class.
So,
Thank you.
Okay.
all right, so what, we made Enya undocumented?
No,
Documented, okay, you're done. Okay, so you can go see David, but David wants to call, or you can go see Seamus, but Seamus wants to call you to tell you something,
Not to do.
something that his lawyer told him that you already paid for. So, Seamus. Thank you for the soup. Phone calls from the jail are not free. So, Enya has to put money into an account so that Seamus can call.
It's gonna cost you more money.
You are a lawyer or what you are?
She's the bank.
She's the IRS.
And this money, all right, this money that Enya's giving to me actually goes to our county freeholder over here, as it goes into the county budget.
I know you were going to be frijoles.
Oh, yeah. For one phone call.
Not all of it, but most of it.
So Seamus is in detention, and in detention they give you 2 pairs of clean clothes. So you have 2 pairs of underwear, but they only do your laundry once a week.
So everybody's washing it by hand.
Oh my gosh, so you have to stay 3
The
days.
orange thing I'm going to use the whole
No,
week.
you're inside.
Underwear.
Your underwear. You gotta be 3 days with water.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my
So
god.
Seamus calls Enya again.
Oh my gosh.
Don't give more money, okay? I can go Peru, you know, just take care of the babies. I'll take care of the money.
Go to Ireland.
Oh, you are from Ireland. I'm from Peru.
Where is the beer? I need a beer.
The commissary has no beer.
So Seamus says, please, I can't take it anymore. At least I need clean underwear every day. So he says, put more money in my account because I can buy underwear in the commissary. But it's going to cost me $4 for 1 pair of underwear.
Wow, sure.
Only more? I think it's more.
$4.
$4?
No,
What it is.
how much do you give?
You used to buy.
Yeah, because.
Yeah, for 1 pair. You can get $5 for 3 packs.
Only
4 packs of
I need only one. I can use the one thing, you know.
Yeah, you can wash them off.
Yeah, no, my baby, the baby. So forget it. I can use one underwear for the whole month. For my baby. Who cares? Who cares about
That's
underwear?
exactly what happens. You do without. You're right.
Oh my
So
god.
then he
For
says,
my baby.
he calls Enya again.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because
Say,
it's
don't buy,
money.
don't buy
He
them.
says, and he says, they feed me at 5 o'clock in the evening. Nobody eats at 5 o'clock in the evening, right?
Yeah.
Who eats at 5 o'clock in the evening?
2 hours.
Sometimes
Right?
me when
That's
I
why they
go
call
to
it the
work,
early bird
that's
for a
why
reason,
they-
right? So, they don't have lights out until 11 o'clock. And I'm starving, but I have to buy food. So I can buy a packet of ramen noodles, but it's going to cost me $2.
2? Is that real?
Two?
$2.
Oh, really?
Cup of noodles.
Oh, noodles. Oh, cup of
$1.
noodles.
It's
Yeah,
calculated.
yeah.
But we got a commissary list.
$1. You can get them 6 for $1.
So, Annie, how much money you got left there?
2, 4, 6.
All right, $12.
Well, I hope you have a good supper for a month.
Now, and Enya still has all the bills that she had before Seamus went into detention. So whatever their housing costs were, whatever their grocery bills are left, whatever their electricity costs were, everything, all those, their vehicles, whatever, they still have all those costs. Right. So, what do you think is gonna happen to Enya? She's gonna end up giving up vehicles, housing,
Yeah. And then
right,
it's gonna go into poverty.
right. You go into poverty. And by the way, and these other, we talked a little bit about the people that Seamus was employing. What are they gonna do now? They have no job. So they're gonna be looking for work too. Now, then the money that we took away from Seamus and Enya's family, for the most part, went to county government. Now, county government,
How much?
whether it's Hudson County or Essex County, they
She's
think
not telling.
that it's a good idea to make money off their jails. So they're incarcerating more and more people. They're incarcerating people for immigration detention, which is a civil offense. But not just the people that are incarcerated for immigration detention, but if you're being incarcerated for a traffic offense, if you're a U.S. citizen, you have all these same issues. So the same thing happens to them as well. So we've learned all these things because of our work with immigrants, but we found out that it's a much more bigger, much more systemic problem. So when people say the immigration system is broken, that's not true. It's a lie. The immigration system works exactly the way it's supposed to work. This is the way it was designed to work. This is the way the mass incarceration system was designed to work. It was designed to put people into jail who have no voice. They have less of a voice when they're in jail. And then to somehow raise revenue for county governments that then goes to landowners in the counties where the jails reside. Because what they use that money for largely is to keep property taxes low, while they're also making sure that their benefits in terms of their jobs as elected officials and as county employees stay in place, and they keep all their perks. Jody, the Essex County executive, has a driver. His chief of staff has 3 jobs. Jody's collecting a pension while he's collecting his salary. And I'm sure if we went through Hudson County, we'd find all those same,
Oh, not that.
all those same issues as well.
We've got
So-
a new way of raising money in Hudson County Jail.
What's that? What's the new way to raise money? in
We're,
Hudson County?
we're helping out the county by taking the homeless off the streets at night.
Oh,
In that
lovely.
same building where First Friends is on the 3rd floor.
Yes.
That's
I'm
money
sure that,
making?
yes.
Well, they're paying, somebody's paying the guards,
Yeah. that's
Right.
true.
well, et cetera, there's drivers that
Right.
pick them up.
Right.
Well,
And there's,
may I ask, is there a study anywhere that shows the cost then if she goes on financial assistance
Yeah.
and food stamps and what the
Can she
cost
get
is
food stamps?
for the she can, she's,
For the family, yeah, if she's
what the cost, the additional cost, so the county makes money one way,
Mhm.
but the county and the government lose money in terms of all of their financial
Excuse me.
assistance and social services they end up providing, yes?
What do you know?
It's not much.
Not much.
Believe me or not,
But they don't
it's
give
only
much.
it's like $231 a month for a family of 4.
For the
Was that
food
WIC?
stamps.
That's what the welfare that and also the food stamps, and the food stamps is only $200. So it's not much than the government making money from
Incarceration costs,
incarceration.
I think I read $109,000 a year.
Per person.
Per person. Yeah.
See? So
There's a lot of money in
when
it,
when the Republicans says, when they talk that immigration or incarceration, it costs a lot of money. Yes, it's costing a lot of money, but it's costing a lot of money from all taxes, right? And when they said that we're gonna cut the welfare assistance to the poor people because we are paying a lot of money, that's not true. Because they are paying more money to the private corporations for one detainee than they are paying like $231 for a family of 4.
So that's my money, my taxpayer money is supporting them keeping someone incarcerated.
Incarcerated.
Well, and
which
the
is not
thing,
right.
the thing about the incarceration too, and thank you, Seamus and
Thank you
Anya.
so much. Thank you, Shane.
But I incarcerated, so she never called her lawyer or something.
You're such a good lawyer, you are now out.
You've
You've been arrested.
How much it costs you, the lawyer? Oh my God.
I have a question.
Yes,
Okay, I am in the jail.
yes.
I was 2 days ago in the jail, okay? In the president days. So, but I hear, I am documented. So I am here about executive action in November 20 from Barack Obama and blah, blah, blah. So supposedly, I didn't do anything wrong. I only have no paper in front of the police, and the police sent me to the jail. So my question is now, so I hear, I am the jail. So I say, okay, but you know, I'm innocent, so I suppose that they're going to take me out right now because, you know, because Barack Obama executive action. So what is happening right now? Because I am disoriented. I am, is I'm going to be free because there's this executive action right now, or is going to have the whole process that we told
Are you going to be free because of, well, the executive action right now is on hold. It actually was supposed to start today.
Yes.
There was a lawsuit that was filed in Texas,
Mhm.
and there was a federal judge in Texas who issued an injunction barring anyone in the federal government from processing any paperwork with regard to the expansion of deferred action. So,
But no, my question is, I don't have deferred action, forget about DAPA. It's only because when the president say about the executive action, he said that all the people who is in the jail innocently, not because I did something wrong, innocently. So I didn't steal anything, I didn't. So supposedly, independently of the DACA, the DAPA, one part from the executive action say that if I am innocent, they have to leave me,
Yeah, there you go.
yeah.
leave me out. So it happened.
Yeah.
No,
So you,
This issue also is.
well, you,
Oh, yeah.
this thing,
You did do something wrong.
once you are put into detention, it is your obligation to prove that you shouldn't be in detention. The burden of proof is on you. So in order to be freed because of prosecutorial discretion, oftentimes you have to hire a lawyer. It's not, they don't just say, oh, we made a mistake, we're gonna let you go. No, you have to fight for that right, whether you file the paperwork yourself,
Hello.
sometimes they'll say, or you hire a lawyer to do it. You're gonna sit there until
What?
you somehow encourage, force, cajole, whatever, ICE to let you out. So no, you're gonna be in there, and whatever you paid, whatever you lost, whatever happened to you financially while you're in the jail, they're not responsible for it.
But now, the people that we have in the jail, who is innocent, so these people is still protected by this executive action or no? Because I think the injunction of blah 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 and the 26 states supporting that happy what the Texas judge do, is because the DAPA and the DACA extension for the year blah blah blah. It's not about the people who is not going to be deported.
Well, DACA and DAPA, that was an act, that was a protection from being detained and deported. That was, but I think what you're talking about is like an extension of prosecutorial discretion. And I don't believe, but I'm not sure, I don't think the judge's action had anything to do with prosecutorial discretion was still going on. They don't have to detain anybody. They can detain who they choose to. So, but the thing is that we also live in New Jersey, and we do not have the best field office in terms of their record on prosecutorial discretion. They're at the bottom of the
Undocumented person.
at the bottom of the list in terms of the number of people that we're setting free because of prosecutorial discretion. We're at the top of the percentage of the number of people who were deported who have no criminal history. So to think that things are going to change in New Jersey. What could change in New Jersey, though, is we'll see what happens. On Thursday, DHS is supposed to run out of money.
Well,
So,
something's happening though. We've noticed a decline in the number of people in each facility.
yes.
Now, but that's been true all around the nation, judging from who's been responding to those visitation civic emails. But does that mean they're just moving everybody which way all around, or what? We don't know.
I was looking at track data too, and it looks like in New Jersey numbers have declined a lot.
Yeah.
But they're still pretty aggressive about who they're, once
They're
you get
still
into
picking up.
detention, but once they get into detention, they're pretty aggressive about who they're deporting. They're still deporting
So is
quite a
that
few
my,
people.
that's the concern, is the decline deportations? We can't tell. They're released.
You wonder, I
But
have to
where?
wonder
What?
if it's just that they picked up all the low hanging fruit, you know what I mean? And it's people who are still here or
But how are they keeping their 34,000 beds?
I don't know. I don't know. They're detaining families, so that's how they're making up their beds in Carnes County and whatever,
Oh, well.
in Texas.
Okay.
But
Are there still children coming across? I mean, it's
there are, it's
Yeah.
down, but they're still coming
Still
across. Yeah, I mean, they discourage people from coming,
mhm.
but people are still coming.
Somehow the myth's been propagated, might as well chime in. That I just saw that on the Jorge Ramos, the Fusion documentary that came out in August, and there was a myth being propagated that you were better off if you came with your parent, mothers and children. And of course that's not the case, but thousands and thousands of mothers and children came
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
And of course, they're all on a rocket docket, and they're not getting credible fear interviews, which they're all entitled to, but the ICE, of course, refuses to, or CBP, or well, ICE refuses to grant them actual credible fear interviews or allow them to go to an asylum officer to get one.
I think the population is increasing in the border zone.
Well, I mean, New Jersey, we don't,
They get there
we don't-
and then they just can't, they can't get
They
any
can't
further
get any
into the
further,
country.
yeah.
But there's towns and towns and towns of people living.
Yeah, we don't really think of ourselves as in the border zone in New Jersey, but I mean, we have so many international airports.
Yeah, but we don't have
We
like
don't-
if you cross the river and across the Rio Grande, you still have 50 miles before you're,
Before you hit it,
so you could live in that.
yeah, people are doing that, yeah.
You could have people serving the lunch at Taco Bell to the border guards, you know, I mean, it's like,
Yeah. Right, right.
it's so interesting.
Wow.
But I don't know. I don't know if anybody else has had the same experience, but I seem to be seeing border guards everywhere these days. Like you mentioned Taco Bell, I was like the Wendy's in Short Hills, a couple months back. In Short Hills, yes. And with my son standing on line, there were border patrol behind us. There were ice stations, armed ice stations. I think they were there for lunch, but
What are you doing, guys?
Short Hills.
Yeah,
Aren't you a little far from your area?
Well, they with the Patriot Act, the border now is like 100 miles from the actual borders where they
Well,
can
that's why they were
operate.
picking up people on the buses going across New York State.
Yes.
Yeah.
All along Buffalo, Rochester, New Orleans.
Right. So it's technically the entire
But I
state
think
of New Jersey.
didn't they pass a law that said you can't do that? They disallowed the marshals from picking up people on those buses. From, like, say, you got on a bus in Cleveland and you were
Oh,
going
yeah,
across
because
New
we had
York
a
State.
big protest
We did.
in Newark.
That's right.
Yes, we did.
It was a couple years ago,
That's
but
right.
I even called the Greyhound owner
Uh-huh.
for all the good that did. As in, I didn't speak with him. But I think they have disallowed that. I read that someplace not long ago. That they can't.
Yeah, I would double check that before anybody takes Greyhound.
Yeah.
We have to be careful also with
Wait, I need to
speculation.
keep this, literally?
I won't get far with it.
And also
Full
one thing
monopoly,
that
you're
I,
so monopoly, huh?
one thing that part of my class, I have to interview some person like, okay, what was my interest, right? So I wanted to know, because I saw when I asked people to come to my house to fix the patio, I saw the guy bring two young boys, and then they were speaking Spanish, and then I got in conversation with them. So I asked them, "How old are you?" And then he said 15.
Mm-hmm.
And from where he was Salvatorian, and he's Honduran. And then I asked, "Oh yeah, and we just come like 1 month ago." And then I asked, "And how do you come?" So they crossed the frontier. They said, and then I said, "How do you know?" But they have here their mother, each boys. And then I told her, "How do you guys come?" And they said, "No, because over there in Honduras, in Salvador, there are agencies that they charge money." And they say, "If you have a family over there, we're gonna take you over there, you're gonna cross the border, and you wanna make you to catch with the police. Because if you don't make the catch with the police, you're gonna be undocumented. So you need to show up in front of the police for them to catch you. That's the game."
If they have papers, they're in better shape too, at the border being caught.
No, the thing
No, I
was.
don't mean real, I mean to their identification papers.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, yeah, the passports, right?
Yeah,
So
something.
what happened was that I couldn't believe, and so I was very interested to have an interview with these two boys, and they told me that please don't say our names, but you know already that. Okay, I went to their house. I asked the mother, how
Is she
How-
undocumented?
She had a TPS because Salvatorian,
Okay.
and the Honduran, it's she just is making her papers with another. She got married with another person, so it's still waiting. So the point for me was that the boy says, in over there, they have to go to the agency. And the agency, the personnel over there, they explain them what they have to do once they cross the border. And then, excuse me, and then the mother says that they charge $3,000 to the agents. The agency, she pays to the agency $3,000. She sent a money order. Somebody charged in California that she doesn't know, because she says that she put it in the money order, she put it in the envelope, and she put it to the address, and then it was like that. It was working like that. So that's a mafia, I'm saying. And they are doing money with poor children that they are coming, because some of
Hopefully
them,
that
they
helps
don't
them
have
get there
family.
safely,
Yeah,
as opposed to.
But they said the agency brings them and they put in the train,
Oh, yeah.
and then they just live over there, and then that's it. They are, if they are lucky, they cross here, and that's, I think that's shame of the government
Well, another
from
thing
there.
that's
So they get $3,000
$3,000
for that?
to
To put
yes,
them on the train?
to put them on the train. And believe me, when I in the news those days, and the boy was telling me, you know what? When I was coming from my town, he said that I had to travel to another town, and then in my car, and he was funny laughing when he was talking to me. We were like 100 boys in the car, the big car. So they said, oh my gosh. And then everybody has to run to the train, because then you didn't even know if the other boy pays or not, because other boys are looking just them, and then just follow them and then go. And some of them, they go without money, without nothing. So they supposed to, the companies, the agency supposed to give them some documentation. They didn't give any. The mother was the one who said, put it your passport, put it
Yeah.
in. So the boy put it like some band, I don't know how to say,
Yeah,
una
belt,
venda.
like,
Yeah, he put it inside, and then that's why the boy now has his papers.
Yeah, that's an important thing that they should
See?
tell them. Come with your paper.
And then the other boy doesn't have papers, because he didn't do that. He didn't bring any documentation from there.
Friends has had two, well, or maybe more, but anyway, one in particular, ICE called, and they had this boy in New York, and they had 40 or so kids, that they were taking them to Children's Village because they were under 18. One boy, they realized, was going to turn 18 in just a week or couple of weeks. So they said, oh my gosh, he goes there, 2 weeks later, we're gonna have to pick him up and put him in the jail. So they called, and so Sally said, well, you bring them to me. Now we have to go to New York to pick up kids, this is not good. Anyway, so they did bring him, because they're always coming there anyway. And Rosa was able to make him feel at home. And turns out, he had a relative to go to, but he was too afraid to tell the border people.
Yeah.
So like just a turnaround of overnight, they fly him up here from Texas, and we get in touch with the undocumented relative, who then pays Greyhound to take him back down there. And he made it. And we had, and ICE made us make sure he got a new court date, knew everything. But so that worked. But they could have done that, and apparently ICE is willing to do that, except the kid wouldn't tell.
And
And
remember,
you can see why.
yeah.
He felt safer telling up here. And
Remember last year, and I was the volunteering with the phone calls. Oh my gosh. And one day I got like 30 phone calls. 30 in less than 2 hours. I think so. I was like, my phone was ring. And then I was like, something is wrong with this. So everybody, and give me your name. And then, okay. And then as soon just I was clicking again, ring the phone. And then I was, from where? From Hudson. I am in Essex County. I am in, and then there's some of from the New York, I don't know what. Oh my gosh. And just one day, and Sally was getting crazy because I was giving them all the information. Look at, and then next day it was a Rosa, I think so. And what Rosa was the same thing, like other, like
Speaking of
20 boys.
Spanish-speaking
Oh my
people to
gosh.
answer phones for us,
Oh
just in case
my.
anyone has some time.
Oh yeah, because I talk to them in Spanish
Yeah.
because they don't speak Spanish, and then most of them were like Central America
Yeah.
because they give the boys like we said in Spanish, like nos pasamos la voz.
By word of mouth.
Word of mouth. They said that who wanna go with me to United States? Me, and
yeah.
everybody goes, and then they were coming like that.
So you need someone who speaks both Spanish and English, not just Spanish, so that they can have a conversation, right?
Well, either
Oh, to
way,
answer the
even
phones, I thought-
we could always translate it again. We really need someone to speak to them and write it down.
Oh, I see.
And then we have
You
staff who could read it.
yeah.
It's just we don't have time to be answering all the phones. Or we wouldn't, the people in the office couldn't do anything else if they were just doing that, as you can see. So that's the problem. But, yeah, so even if they only speak Spanish, that's better than no one.
Yeah, because from 20 people in one day maybe.
But it's going down now.
17 are Spanish speaking, and 3 of them maybe, 1 Portuguese. And then it was funny because one day one guy called me, he was from Brazil, and he said, can you please take me your house? I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
I can work for you for free for 1 year entirely. Please take me. I need somebody who can do. Oh my gosh, I was like,
Well,
I
we
was
need that
so
person to say
sad.
yes.
Oh my gosh, it's really it's too much. Like if you have to be like very strong to don't like
Emotional.
oh,
To answer the
terrible.
phone, you need
Yes.
to be strong, yeah, it's not easy.
Because some of them, I'm not calling you so many times. Why you don't answer
Yeah.
the phone?
Also, though, we also have to think about these children who are coming are not, high school graduates or even elementary school graduates or even literate,
Most of them.
and many have been living on the streets. So they come with a bunch of problems
Yeah.
as well. So that's another, we're sending them all to Rosie. And some have been drug addicted as well.
Oh yeah, that's sad.
It's sad, but you think it's hard to find housing, then it's hard to find a treatment program,
Yeah.
and then it's hard to find a treatment program that will take someone who doesn't speak English. So it gets harder. Nonetheless, here's the job for the compassionate persons.
Yeah, I was doing not internship, but it's intro to social. I have to volunteer 40 hours. So I have with this the person is a domestic violence
Yeah.
victim,
A
and
lot of those too.
it's very sad that she is undocumented. The children are born here, 3 kids, and the father is undocumented also. But the way that the government, they were living in a shelter, but once they were like in 3 different shelters in 1 year. and imagine how are those children.
Mhm.
It's really sad. And they are Americans. So it was so sad that to me to understand how as a human and how I'm gonna be if I'm gonna be social work, how I'm gonna be a part of her problems. Like my teacher told us, you have your own life and you have to separate
Separate it.
that. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute. I can't do that. Yeah, yes, you have to. So many people did it, so why not you? And then that's the way it is. And then when I think about it, I said to myself, wow, I don't think I'm gonna be okay to do this job because
It's hard.
this
I mean,
is
It
this
is
is
hard.
really
How
hard.
many people are driving down the street and pick up a homeless person and take them home? Hardly anybody. Or even come on Sundays with.
It's funny, yeah.
But so then when you're in a social work situation, it's the same thing. Now all of a sudden you have a burden for a person you have to hold the street with.
You know what it
But
is?
it's the same need.
But
A
you
need
know
for
what is the
house.
problem? The problem is that if you broke the ethics of the social work school, you
Yeah. Well, you can say, that's all right, I'm taking this homeless person instead.
yeah forget it. And yeah, it is sad.
There's so
But
many.
has to
Yeah.
be
Just
yeah.
in Journal Square,
Mhm.
Well, now
900.
those, they are picking them up every night though.
Yeah,
to-
yeah.
to-
The only one
You know,
is-
the funny thing was.
Called alert, yeah.
Just in Journal Square, 900.
Patterson also, Patterson live
Yeah.
under the bridges.
Yes, oh yeah.
Oh my God, then the
You know,
park.
that
they-
program
they do
that
the
they
count?
count them
Yeah.
every year.
Yes, they got frozen out of the count even.
Then Lou Costello Park in Patterson.
And one
Lou Costello Park in Patterson. And they are in something like, como un hueco, ¿no? Como
A whole.
like a
like a hole is
tunnel.
covered like that, and they sleep
Oh.
like 10.
Oh
You know,
my
because you know sometimes
The more
we
the
go
warmer.
and
You know,
do
in
something
the-
for them.
In those mountains by Northburg
The
and that comes
Palisades,
down by
in the
Palisades.
Palisades cliff. Yeah, they were there.
They literally
told me.
have
Oh, yeah.
little niches there. Like,
In
to
the
live,
winter,
and we
you can
find them.
see, because you can see, there's no leaves on the trees, you can actually see little tarps and places where people have set up homes.
We do some kind of Christmas present for homeless. It was like broth teas and soap and shampoo and like 11 different items with a present for. And when we call and we went to the parks and went to the beaches and invite to these brothers to the Sunday after Christmas. And we meet 142 homeless.
Oh my gosh.
They coming, but they pass the boys each other. Oh, you know, it's going to happen. We're going to see something, you know. And they go. We were 142 people who live in the streets. That's crazy. You say, oh my God. Because we do also for St. Heavens, and the people were like 90, 100 people, you know. But this day was you know, fue impresionante. Impactante.
Yeah.
Impactante.
A big
Me golpeó
impact.
más que cuando.
Made a big impact.
Más que cuando hago esto de los para los homeless en San Heavens.
More than when I do the Thanksgiving.
Because es
for
en un lugar
homeless.
cerrado y nosotros servimos
Because it's a
comida.
closed place and we have food.
You know,
Yeah.
you know what? I had an experience this year. It was really impressive because we go with donation, you know, and we have only 5 turkeys, bread, and you know, 5 turkeys. So we have to, you know, when the people come, we have,
Like
you
this.
know, when the people coming. We see many people who coming and say, oh my goodness. So,
And you're not alone, you're not the only group serving people.
Yeah,
and I know.
So there's
Saint
two-
Joseph also they
Everywhere,
the
everywhere.
food.
The
As more
food, you know,
come
and
in.
sobró.
Yeah.
And we take the
There
food and
is-
give to the
Throw your
people
bread upon
who,
the water.
Yes.
you know, it was ese es to go. Nosotros teníamos to go, porque yo recé, I pray because I say, oh my God, no va a alcanzar, no sé cómo
It's not going to be enough.
Oh my God, you know,
Love
when I
multiplies.
see, oh my God,
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
see
Yeah.
the God comes.
Yeah.
All you have to do is
It's
ask,
crazy.
literally.
Yeah.
So there's two aspects. There's one, the service that we can do, and the other, as Kathy really well knows, is the advocacy to prevent the homelessness or
that.
to get somebody's, our system that we're paying into, to act,
That's what I wanted to
to
do.
serve.
So I started talking about every year, everybody goes out to count. We don't do that.
Yeah.
Because to count so that the money comes in.
Mm-hmm.
But the money stays more in the offices or the
Yeah.
departments, agencies that are working towards the homeless.
Uh-huh.
I had one person that I was working, trying to get him a place to live.
Mm-hmm.
I called the homeless prevention. They had not even one. And I said, I bet you're the director, your assistant director, a couple of administrative assistants, and all that money staying there. Instead of using that money to get a couple of rooms, they don't need a whole apartment.
Yeah.
They need one room with a twin size bed,
We need
a
more
common,
SROs.
a common kitchen and,
Yeah.
area and bathroom.
You used
But
to have
that's
that
where
big
the
one
problem
on
is.
Journal Square, they used to have that big SRO apartment building, or
That's what the
wanted,
That's what the
the Earl
problem is.
Hotel.
the Earl Hotel.
They wanted to make it into like 80 or 90 units
That's what they need.
of SRO.
Yeah.
It's not
And,
gonna
you know,
happen.
business people were up in
It's crazy,
arms.
Do you think?
So we count them so that the money comes in, and
Well,
it's not gonna go to them.
It can't be either or, though. I mean, if the money doesn't come in, then nothing.
I know, but then the administration of the money
Uh-huh.
has to be done to benefit them, not
Exactly.
to make sure that they don't go away because I need a job. That's what we don't
That's
count
one
anymore, it's
thing,
like, we're not counting. So what we're doing is, one by one, let's say, someone is ready to lose their apartment, so we help them to make sure that they don't lose it, families. But
Well,
the ones
you
that
should-
are
you're doing what-
outside,
You're doing what they should be doing, but you're just volunteering.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So the ones that are outside, now that they pick them up and put them all in a certain place, all those agencies that are supposed to be helping are supposed to be coming in when they're inside somewhere,
There,
evaluating each person.
are there
because
not two daytime drop-in centers, they told me? One near Journal Square somewhere and one on Communipaw. So when the people are kept overnight, in the morning, they're taken to these two.
Yeah,
Places.
so
So some
someone
agency
from
could
each
interview people
agency
there.
should be there,
Mhm.
one from
Mhm.
welfare, one from health services,
Mhm.
mental services, evaluate everybody,
Some
and
of
then,
our undocumented people, even that First Friend serves, end up in that same system because we can't find housing, so they're in the shelter system. So
and then for
they're
them
the
it's
same as anyone else. so
more
what can I say?
difficult for undocumented because, at least let's say for documented, people who can who can get that, if they're evaluated and obviously they don't have an address, but somehow to have them placed, and we've done that, place them in a place temporary until we can get Section 8 or assistance, putting them in YMCA, whatever. They have rooms in different places. They're horrible, but at least they can get an
$150
address.
After, like
900.
the lady that I am mentoring, she when she applied for a housing, she was in the 800 number.
Yeah.
And
Bergen
so
County
it was so
has a
difficult.
pretty good
In
system.
Middlesex, it was really
Bergen County?
really hard.
Well, Hudson County is at a disadvantage with. in some
Really?
things.
And then
Density and
I
Not surrounded by really wealthy communities.
Mhm.
I had contact with Edison Housing, and then I don't know, for some reason, just my husband gave me, like he said, maybe you can use this phone number. This is a person that he knows about housing. And then I was like, yeah, but it was over there, the car. I wait like 3 days to decide myself, like, okay, I'm gonna call this person. And then when I call, I explained him, right, the case. This is the lady, this is the children, 3 children, and this and that. And then he said, you can come to see me, and you can bring her also. for the next week. And I was like, oh, thank you. Yes, I'll bring. So I went and like we were very on time. And then he said, by the way, we have one apartment. It was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe. And then, oh my gosh, the lady, we cry. We cry of happiness. And they have with 3 bedrooms. And they have nice, the apartment. I really like. And then now she got already, because we applied for the program that it's, what is that program? I didn't know. I'm learning with her. Also that if you are from victim of domestic violence, you can apply it for a
U visa?
yeah. So she applied. She had already her work permit. She's looking for a job, and the kids are in.
I want to take a picture before we go, because we go also with my sign from the Premier American Coalition. Please support us. I'm coming. Okay.
Are you taking picture? Oh, you are. I want picture.
Marisa.
You know, I'm trying to say,
I got like 18.
David and his wife and children.
So you do everything.
I just got a text message that they're bringing ships to 2 places.
Say whiskey.
Whiskey, Peruvian.
More people, please.
You lift up
Coming.
Come over here, okay.
Sit by the mountain dew.
Over here.
Yeah, we don't want to block.
Okay, we can put it a little bit.
Can you get us? I would be.
Justice for immigrants, everybody.
Justice for immigrants.
All right. So we're gonna stand like over there by Martin Luther over there.
Already? Okay, one more.
Okay. Oh, you're gonna straighten out your hair? Yeah.
Okay, much better.
All right.
Yeah.
So.
He's a wild man.
We're gonna take pictures here once they pass.
All right, so we're going to tell a little story. And we all hear about all these things. We hear about statistics, and but we don't hear about. I mean, sometimes we hear stories, but we don't really hear. We don't put the two together. We don't put the economic and the social impact together with the stories all the time. So we're going to try and do that now. So we have Seamus and Enya.
Oh.
Okay.
Seamus.
I'm not saying anything.
He's shameless.
Seamus and Enya.
Shameless.
We're making you Irish. We're making you Irish immigrants. Okay.
Okay.
And actually, there's 30 or 40,000 undocumented Irish in the country right now. Yeah.
They blend better, huh?
Wow.
Yes. So yeah, things aren't going so well in Ireland right now. So anyhow, so Seamus is he's undocumented, and he has a sheetrocking business in Bergen County. So he makes a nice living, right? So he probably makes around $60,000 a year.
And she my wife?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I didn't know.
Florida.
Did you call?
Florida's raising her hand.
Did you call first friend? The number is on the door.
I know.
Yeah, can you wait till next
And then
Christmas?
I am with.
We're sending
answer
packets.
And then I am with the phone.
Okay.
So call Irish friend, and I'm gonna answer.
Somebody speaks Spanish?
Sí, yo hablo español. ¿Qué decías? Somos de irate friends.
Just first friend.
It's
No
first
irate.
friend.
Oh, I'm sorry. No more irate.
I
You are
am
irate, but
I am detained. I cannot contact my wife.
Oh, okay.
What can I do? Please help me. I
Okay.
am desperate. I am going to kill myself anytime.
Whoa.
No,
I am very
you don't
depressed.
have to feel like that. I mean, no, we're gonna help you. We're gonna come to visit you. We need to talk to you. But what is your problem other than that?
But when, because I was in the street and the police asked my paper I don't have and they send me here, I don't know.
You are forgetting something. You need to ask for an attorney, and then we don't help
tell you
with
no.
attorney. The first thing you did.
Que bueno.
She tells me, no?
You better switch
You make
up.
it up.
I am the day labor.
No,
The owner. You're an entrepreneur.
You were an
Entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I don't speak English.
And-
Doesn't matter.
You, and Seamus employs you,
Wow,
and
amigo.
Seamus employs
Dale para tu
you.
papá,
That
tu
makes
papá no tiene mucha plata.
$60,000.
We are going to play
And
Monopoly.
Seamus
Monopoly?
employs you.
Ooh, good.
Whoa.
Very generous, a good boss.
Now,
Some nails.
and Enya, she works at a local daycare.
Oh.
Very good.
Cuantos de chica.
So Seamus gets into a fight with one of his
Whoa.
customers. His customers doesn't want to pay him. So they're having an argument, and the neighbors, gets a little heated. No punches are thrown, but it gets a little heated, and the cops are called. So the cops show up, and they start talking to Seamus, and they find out that he's undocumented. Now they're not supposed to ask. We all know that they're not supposed to ask, but sometimes they do. And as they say, you can't unring that bell. Because if a cop, whether he's poorly trained or he has poor intentions, bad intentions,
You need to ask for an attorney.
No, that happened. I was incarcerated without. They don't give me attorney or anything. So I see the number of.
Okay, do you want me to call to your wife? Do
Please,
you want me?
tell me.
Okay, so she can
Maybe
come.
she can contact,
Okay, so she can come to see you. You want that?
or she can contact a lawyer.
Okay. Thank you. And then I will send somebody to come to visit you.
Thank you, but when?
Soon. I'm gonna tell you soon.
I'm
Very
very
soon.
desperate. I don't know what to do because I don't speak English. Everybody speak English here, and many people look at me like I'm a criminal. I'm very scared because it's my first time in the jail.
Actually, Seamus, everyone there speaks Spanish. It's a different problem. Oh my God.
I coming from Greece.
But we would ask you how long you have been there.
Yeah,
When did you
and
get
then
there?
what?
Blah, blah, blah. Your
Yeah,
number,
and
your
what detention,
name it.
and what detention facility you are, and your AMA number, something like that. Yeah.
So first friends, they called Enya, they let Enya know where you are. And so she comes to visit you.
So she's
now you wanna-
documented, eh?
No, we don't do that.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, she can't come.
that's true.
Yeah.
Once he calls ICE and ICE gets involved, you're done. So, Seamus gets thrown into detention. So Seamus, give me your money.
Why?
Because you lose your job.
You're in
I
jail.
You're in detention, you gotta give me your money.
You should have given a lot more money to the cop.
Give me your money.
Yeah, now you're making.
I don't care because I got fair friends who are going to give me phone card.
That's right, you can count on
And
that.
I'm gonna take your money, because now you don't have a job. And I'm gonna take your money, because you don't have a
I
job.
don't have no more job, yeah.
Doesn't matter, you don't have a job anymore, so you're not getting any more money, so come on. Doesn't matter, you're a US citizen.
Yeah, that's something unfair about it.
Right?
Just because your dad has a short temper.
Education money.
So Seamus is in detention. Now, in immigration detention, you don't get a lawyer, right? We all know that. You're not entitled to a lawyer in immigration detention. So Anya's got to go out and hire a lawyer for Seamus. So,
Because she's not working for 1
she's
day.
still working.
She's
She
still
can still work.
working, yeah.
But now, she took away all of Seamus's money. She's still got to pay all the bills in the house.
Yeah.
And now she's got to pay for a lawyer, too. So, Seamus is in detention. He wants to call Enya. How can he do that?